Hello everybody, starting with the lesson 5.7 section review. So this is the quiz review for the take-home quiz. Starting with number 1, I didn't make copies because frankly it's really hard to read. So just starting with number 1, I have 5.1 to the x power equals 247. And this is asking us to use properties of logarithms and exponents to solve the equation. So here we just have the basic property of our definition of logarithm. So here is our b, here's the x, and here's our a. So if I write it in log form, it's log base b, so base 5.1 of a, so of 247 equals x. And then using the calculator, calculate and find out that x equals 3.38. So that is number 1. I guess I should probably say it's 1a. Okay, now looking at 1b, we have 17 plus 1.25 to the x power equals 30. So again, I have close to what I had in number 1, but I have this 17 plus on the end here, so I want to get rid of that first. So I'm going to subtract 17. Which gives me 1.25 to the x power equals 13. And again, I have my definition of a logarithm. So this becomes log base of 125 of 13 equals x. And then again, plugging in the calculator and calculating, we get x equals 11.49. All right, so that's 1a and b. So here's 1c. This one says 27 times 0.93 to the x power. Oh, I hate when I do that. Equals 12. So again, we'll start with our algebra first. We'll get rid of the 27 times. So I have to divide by 27. Divide by 27. 0.93 to the x equals 12. Again, definition of logarithm. So log base of 0.93 of 12 equals x. And solving, we get x equals 11.31. I can bring out my little rectangular tool. There it is. So x is 11.31 for rounding. Moving on to 1D. Oh, I forgot I still had that tool. 1D. That actually worked out. We have 23 plus 45 times 1.024 to the x power equals 147. Okay, so again, start by getting rid of your algebra stuff first, or order of operations backwards, so SADMEP backwards. So I don't have any subtraction. I do have addition. I have plus 23, so I'm going to get rid of that first. That goes away, leaving me with 45 times 1.024 to the x, which equals 124. No division, but I do have multiplication, so I have to divide by 45. Which leaves me with 1.024 to the x power equals 2.76. And then once again, definition of log. So log base 1.024, excuse me, 1.024 of 2.76 equals x. And solving, we get x equals 42.81. And there's our solution for that one. Whoops. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is very much the same thing, so I'm just going to continue with that. 2a says 800 equals 10 to the x power. Simple definition of log, so I have log base 10 of 800, which is the same as log of 800. and that equals x. So x equals 2.90. So there is 2.9. Let me see that. Okay, so there's 2a. 2b. Again, simple definition of logarithm, 2048 equals 2 to the x power. So we have log base 2 of 2048 equals x. So using our calculator, we find out that x equals 11. And for 2c, we also have simple definition, 16 equals 0.5 to the x power. So rewriting this, we get log base 0.5 of 16 equals x. So x equals -4. And there is 2a, b, and c. Moving on, d, e, and f are still are a little bit, have just one extra step. So let's do 2D. So 2D says 478 equals 18.5 times 10 to the x power. So we have to do that division first. Divide both sides by 18.5. Make that go away. We get 25.84 equals 10 to the x power. Definition of logarithm, log base 10, 25.84 equals x. So x equals 1.41. Okay. I'm going to just go to the next screen so that's not all mixed up. So we have 2e says 155 equals 24.0 times 1.89 to the x power. Divide both sides by 24. And we get 6.46 equals 1.89 to the x. And logarithm, so log base 1.89 of 6.46 equals x. So x equals 2.93. That's 2e. And finally 2f. Whoops, there's my square again. Got to switch it back. 2f starts out 0.0047 equals 19.1 times 0.21 to the x power, dividing by 19.1. This gives me 0.000246, working with some really tiny numbers here. 0.21 to the x. Definition of log. Log of 0.21, log base 0.21 of 0.000246 is equal to x, and x is equal to 5.32. Okay, so those first two, 1 and 2, are just strictly solving using definition of logarithm. So if on the quiz you have problems where you need to use the calculator to get the solution, remember you can use your change of base formula, because here, if you're using a calculator at home, you can't plug just this part into the calculator. So your change of base formula would have to come in, and it would say log of A, so 0.000246, divided by log of B, which is 0.21, and then that is how you would get this solution without having the calculator that we use at school. So on your quiz, you can calculate the logs like this using the change of base formula down here and get the solutions on your quiz. Okay? Tune into the next screencast for numbers 3 and 4.